Services Library District Board is hereby called to order. What did I do with my stuff? I got here half an hour early, so I'm late being ready. All right. So roll call, please.
Vincent Kiefer.
Here.
Marta Terancy.
Here.
Marissa Shepard.
Here.
Patty Jensen.
Here.
Kevin Keating.
Here. All right. In here. All right. Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians and the Modoc Nation, as well as the Shasta, Takelma, and Latgawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where residents of Jackson County live today. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. All right. We have no introductions or proclamation. And when I look, well, we're not ready for the anyway. So do we need to amend the agenda at all, or should we just move forward? Any amendments? Does anyone need to pull anything off the consent agenda? On the consent agenda, we have 3 sets of minutes, 2 special board meeting minutes and 1 regular board meeting from last month. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
This is Marta, and I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that we approve the consent agenda. Is there, I don't think we're supposed to discuss that. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And there were no signups for oral requests for communication on the table. Is there anybody in the virtual meeting that would like to speak? I see no hands. So we will move into new business. We have 3 resolutions, an appropriation to transfer. Well, Heather, why don't you come up and talk about your stuff?
Okay, so we have 3 resolutions for you today. All
you move your microphone closer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that those folks
that better
hear you.
And we'll just go through them one by one. The first one is to do the budget transfer from contingency into the general fund to cover the additional costs that are anticipated due to the termination of the library director. These were the estimates that were provided for legal fees, additional board professional development, and the severance and vacation payout. So the total transfer would be $220,000 from contingency into the administrative services bucket of the general fund.
So we have a motion to approve resolution 26-03.
Microphone.
I move to approve resolution 2026-03.
I second the motion.
Great, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion about this resolution? Marty?
Thank you, Heather. This is consistent with the preliminary numbers that you previewed for us in the last conversation at the last meeting. Therefore, I have no questions, and thank you for breaking it out.
Sure.
And for the analysis accompanying this.
Welcome.
Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, could we have a roll call?
Susan Kiefer,
Aye.
Kevin Keating, Marta Teranci.
Aye.
Marissa Shepherd,
Can you say that again, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Patty Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved.
Okay.
And now we have resolution 26-04.
Okay, the next two are mostly just housekeeping. 2604 is to remove Carrie May as a signer from our Banner Bank checking account. And that's really just removing her out of the whole process as a signer and taking away the ability to transact.
Okay. Motion to approve.
To approve motion 2026-04.
A second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Can we have a roll call, please?
Susan Kiefer.
Aye.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Marta Teranci,
Yes.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
Patty Jensen.
Motion carries. The resolution 2026-04 is approved. And now we have resolution 2026-05.
Yes, so 2605 is related to our local government investment pool account, which we call the LGIP. This is where we hold the majority of our funds until we need them for operating use in the Banner Bank account. And so this removes Carrie May as a signer and removes her transaction abilities from this account as well. And this one also adds Kelda Vath with temporary authority to transact on the account until a new director is assigned. And that, as we discussed, was because I was the only one that was able to do transfers. We needed to have a backup.
I have one question.
Let's get a motion on the floor first. Can we have a motion to approve?
I move we approve resolution 2026-05.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve resolution 2026-05 now.
Thank you for providing the resolution and some analysis for it. How often does the leadership transact or sign or perform transactions that require an authorized signer on the LGIP? Is it once a year, or is it something that has to be done every month as part of the director's duties?
So usually so the amount of transactions is fairly small. It's about, I would say, 3 a month where we move money to cover our check runs. That's where all of the property tax money goes into. So that's how we get it moved over for operations. And typically it's myself that does the transactions, but we need to have another person available.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Susan Kiefer,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Marta Teranci,
Yes.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
Patty Jensen.
Yes.
Motion passes. Resolution 2026-05 is approved. Now, do we
Thank
have
you.
to sign these things before we leave? Okay, I just, don't let me see. Yes, sir.
I had a quick question. Did 2026-04, we don't require accountability for that?
She's already a signer on the Banner Bank account. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Is she up there? We have next on the agenda, we have no unfinished business, so we are going to reports to inform. And Jan Wright has given us a report from the Southern Oregon Historical Society. And I don't see Jan here or there. So we'll just move on. And if she sometimes comes in late, so if she comes in, well,
It was a very good report written.
yeah. It's good to catch up with them. All right, the next report is for the foundation. Jenny? Turn your mic on, please.
Okay, thanks. So hi. As you see in your packet, we have now 5 years of data since I started under the MOU in 2021. So we have something to actually kind of compare and look at, which is exciting. I'll make note on the first graph you see of fund distributions to the district. It looks particularly high, and then it sort of evens out for the most part. That is the year that the foundation provided $80,000 towards the DART van. And so it was just a little bit higher. And as we began with Dolly Parton Imagination Library, we also have distributed a little bit more than in previous years as well. So you'll see a couple of spikes, and those are the main reasons for that. As we look at new donors, so in the MOU, we talked about the benchmarks would be how much we distribute to the district, growth in our donor population, and how much we raise, and interest on our investments. So as you look at our new donor growth, we've done a letter campaign for the past 3 years. And we've seen a lot of growth, and you'll see that spike in 23-24, which is when we did both year-end campaign and Library Giving Day. And you'll see that we largely have nearly doubled each year the growth in donors, and we're on track as we're in the middle of our fiscal year to do so again this year. Similarly, with retained donors, we've seen that as we grow our donor base, we're also doubling the retention of those donors, which is particularly exciting. Anyone in business knows it's important and less expensive to keep someone who's supporting you than to have to find new donors, though you always want to refresh as well, of course. So that looks exciting, and we're above where we were last year already, and we're mid-year. So we're on track to continue in the same vein. Just so you don't freak out at the big dip on this graph, we are mid-year. So we're at about the halfway mark for donations. Last year, we also had some large contributions that were as part of bequests. So
when you have pledges out over multiple years, do you divvy up where the money is applied then? I mean, obviously you don't count it till
which year you mean?
actually get it, but like there wouldn't be money that's pledged for next year in any of these graphs.
So when
Is that
we
correct?
we book it, I guess is the term, in the year that we receive the pledge. So you
do count it
we
when
counted
you
it
get the pledge.
correct.
Yeah. And if they don't
If they don't
fulfill their
then there's a whole
then-
You're getting into accounting.
all
now,
right, never
Susan.
mind.
That's it.
I'll withdraw the question.
I was not hired to be an accountant, though I do know enough to know that you do have to write them off at a certain point if you don't receive them.
All right.
So I just want to clarify. My understanding. So if someone gave like a 5-year pledge to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, that amount would, as you just stated, would be in the first year, and then they'll pay
Right.
in the next few years.
Yeah.
But it's all counted in the first year. Got it. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for Jenny?
This is really good stuff.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank
It's a
thank
very-
you all.
It's a very upbeat kind of report.
Well, but we go, that's our goal, right? Well, we're just not going to put that pressure on you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so now we are going to hear from Milagros about the Spanish language services report.
Also got all of handouts and reports and a copy of the slides. for all.
Thank you.
Woohoo. Thank you. Yep. Okay, turn you on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Milagros Morales, and I am JCLS's Spanish Service Coordinator. This position is under the Community Engagement Department, and I report to the Community Engagement Manager, Josh Letzinger. Today, I will be highlighting the Spanish Language Services Department and what the first year of the department has looked like. In the materials I've handed out to you today, you will find a copy of the slides, a wrap-up report for Latinx Heritage Month, and other supporting documentation. I also ask that you please hold all questions until the end. Do I click? Oh, thank you. Sorry. This position was created with the Latinx and Spanish-speaking community in mind. The 2020 census reported that over 13% of Jackson County residents identify as Hispanics or Latinx AO. Spanish is the highest reported language spoken at home besides English. Sorry, I'm so nervous. Due to such a significant portion of our population being Latinx or Spanish speaking, this position was created to better connect them to information, ideas, and each other. Click. I've identified 3 main aspects to this position. While responsibilities shift throughout the year, the 3 constants are programming, outreach, and internal collaborations. Sorry. The largest program under my purview is the yearly Dia de los Niños event. JCLS has hosted an annual celebration at the Medford Ranch since 2022. Dia de los Niños Libros, Children's Day or Book Day, commonly known as DIA, is a nationally recognized initiative that emphasizes the importance of literacy for children of all linguistic and cultural backgrounds, celebrated on the 30th of April. Attendees of this event can expect multicultural performances and food. Local community partners join us, sharing their resources with patrons as well as providing a craft or activity. Attendees are also able to take home a book to continue celebrating Dia at home. In 2025, around 240 participants came to the event, a slight increase from 2024's 207. With the help of the DIA Planning Committee and the Latinx Engagement Committee, we distributed 270 Take and Make kits across the district. Contents of that Take and Make are pictured on the left here. Efforts like DIA work towards Strategic Goal 1, Strategy 2, diversifying and increasing programming and events. Hispanic or Latinx Heritage Month is celebrated from the 15th of September through the 15th of October. During this time, we celebrate the cultural, social, and historical contributions and achievements of Latinos in the United States. For 2025's Latinx Heritage Month, I facilitated 3 different culturally relevant bilingual programs across the district. The Mini Piñata program saw 209 patrons across 11 branches. During this program, patrons were able to make their own mini piñatas using paper cups. They briefly learned about the history of piñatas and were able to try an array of Mexican candy. For the Sugar Skull program, patrons were able to decorate a plastic skull following a traditional pattern or putting their own creative spin on it. This program saw 103 patrons over 3 branches. 5 of our branches hosted a community ofrenda where patrons were able to decorate a picture frame for their loved ones to place on our altars. Throughout these programs, patrons were enthusiastic about learning about a different culture, and Spanish-speaking patrons were excited about the expansion of bilingual programs. Here is a photo of the community ofrenda in White City, and included in the printed material is a wrap-up report for Latinx Heritage Month that goes into greater detail over programming efforts during this time. These efforts work towards Goal 3, Strategy 3, advance ongoing work to foster a welcoming and inclusive environment for the Latinx population. Click. I've also worked to include more bilingual programming during our district-wide campaigns, so Spanish-speaking patrons can reliably have programs to attend. Summer 2025 saw 2 bilingual programs offered in collaboration with the Pollinator Project and Baile Folklorico. These 2 organizations facilitated bilingual programs at 7 different library branches with 103 participants. Currently ongoing, we have a program in collaboration with the Children's Museum of Southern Oregon for a Rogue Reads program. And through these collaborations, we are increasing community partnerships and expanding our bilingual programming efforts. And a big thank you to our data and analytics coordinator, Regina, for her help gathering this data. This graph here shows the increase in programs with a Latinx, bilingual, or Spanish tag over the years. So far in fiscal year 2026, we're about halfway through and we have already offered 71 programs to cater to this target demographic. Click. Yes. And then this graph here shows the increase in attendance for these programs, fiscal year 2026. As you can see in your slides that I've handed out, has had a significant jump, and the average attendance per program has been around 11. Click. Bilingual story times not only help children develop early literacy skills, but the addition of another language helps children with early language acquisition. A 2013 study by Krista Byers-Heinlein and Casey Lou Williams highlights the benefits of bilingualism in children, noting the importance of language learning for travel, employment, speaking with members of one's extended family, maintaining a connection to family, culture, and history, and making friends from different backgrounds. We offer 4 bilingual story times in the district, 3 of which I facilitate. White City has had a bilingual story time since 2022, and in June of 2025, I expanded the programs to the Medford and Phoenix branch. Story times attract an array of patrons, some of who are native Spanish speakers hoping to maintain their child's language. Some come from a bicultural family hoping to learn or continue strengthening their Spanish, and some are monolingual parents introducing their young children to another language. Story times allow for socialization among participants, parents, as well as children, and introduce families to library resources. This program is sometimes a family's first introduction to the library. By participating in Storytime, families strengthen a child's early literacy skills and make frequent library visits a part of their routine. These are extended interactions where patrons get to know the facilitator, creating trust and removing barriers to the library. Recently, the Storytelling Guild's Style of Story program was expanded to include a new Spanish story every 2 weeks. This was made possible through outreach supervisor Amanda's work with the Guild. Click. This slide here shows the increase in Storytime offerings. You see that big jump at towards the end of fiscal year 2025 when we expanded it to 2 other branches. And Storytime attendance is seeing growth. It is proportionally smaller than attendance in outreach and programming events, though. The expansion of Storytime is relatively new, and it does take a while to create a consistent patronage. Current political climates severely impact the Latinx and Spanish-speaking communities' comfort levels entering spaces that have perceived connection to government bodies. Click. With outreach efforts, we're looking to meet the community where they're at and introduce them to library resources. With the community that I work with, outreach efforts are particularly important. Distrust and misconceptions around libraries are common. Many people are not aware that they're able to go to the library for free and obtain a library card, and many are worried about documentation impeding them from library resources. By partnering with strategic community partners that also seek to serve the Latinx and Spanish-speaking community, we're better able to bridge connection and build trust with this community. Together with Outreach Supervisor Amanda, we collaborate to ensure Spanish-speaking staff is available at key community events. Click. Here we have the patron interactions per event from fiscal year 2025, with an average of 115 interactions over 11 events, and majority of them focusing on young children and their families. In collaboration with Outreach to Childcare, we've been able to strengthen partnerships and offer events outside of their regular on-site story times. Outreach events vary from tabling opportunities to more structured presentations or library tours. Partnerships with school districts have been essential in connecting with this community. Our education services team has strong established connections with the K-12 school districts in the county. With the addition of this position, we are able to better connect with Spanish-speaking families, and we have also attended events with higher education institutions in the area, such as SOU and RCC. Click. And then here is a current list of the events attended so far in the 2026 fiscal year. And I don't think I made note of this, but a lot of this data stops in January, so we're a month behind. And so we started off strong this year, attending Colación Fortalezas El Mercadito twice this year, which was an amazing way to connect to a variety of age ranges. And at the Healthy Start Block Party in Phoenix, we interacted with a whopping 438 people. So far, our average is 229 patron interactions per event. This year, I've also started tracking the amount of library card signups gathered at each event, which you can see on the row second from the right. That's it. I lost my spot. People are very enthusiastic about signing up when they learn that it's free of charge, and particularly at events with partners like Listo and the Migrant Family Program at SOESD. Click. Here are the tagged outreach events over the last few years. There is a significant dip in fiscal year 2025 due to a position vacancy in Outreach to Childcare, the bilingual library specialist, but once filled has increased again in the later half of the year. Click. And here's the attendance for these outreach events. Again, the dip reflects a position vacancy, and in the first half of fiscal year 2026, we're seeing strong attendance, putting us back on track to beat previous year's numbers. Moving to internal efforts, I serve as the point person for translations. All translations are sent to me and then submitted to our translator. And as previously mentioned, a large percentage of the population in Jackson County are Spanish speakers. So to be better able to connect with them, our translation policy was updated, and all patron-facing materials are now expected to be offered in Spanish. The creation of this role has streamlined translation efforts to ensure accurate translations returned in a timely fashion. This is truly a district-wide effort as staff from all departments and levels are submitting materials for translation, removing barriers to the library and underscoring JCLS's commitment to connecting people to information in a language that they can better understand. The Latinx AO Engagement Committee was formed around 2020 with the goal of connecting specifically the Latinx community to information, ideas, and each other. I personally have been a member since 2021 and took over as chair with my new role, and attached to your printed materials are the LEC's current goals. Members bring their departmental expertise to the committee and work towards forwarding our strategic goals. I presented various quantitative examples highlighting the success of this position, and I'd also like to take a moment to talk about the qualitative impact of this work. As I mentioned before, the political climate and pre-existing misconceptions have caused groups to be wary of accessing library resources. Spanish-speaking patrons do not know that they can regularly expect programming and materials not only in a language that they can understand, but that are culturally relevant to them. As with any other aspect of library work, we are doing more than connecting people to the library. We create community, a space for folks to exist free of charge. We connect them to information, ideas, and each other. Patrons regularly express their excitement at seeing programming, events, displays that relate to them, and getting to see themselves represented. And other patrons share that they revel in opportunities to learn about other cultures and connect with community members. I look forward to continuing to expand Spanish services at JCLS along with my colleagues. Our Celebrate Dia program this year is coming up in Medford on the 25th of April, and this year it will be expanding to the White City, Phoenix, and Central Point branches. In collaboration with Rogue Credit Union, we will be hosting financial literacy classes in the spring, and in the summer we look forward to hosting a Noche de Familia with children's author Mr. G here in Medford. And that's what I've got. And yeah, I'm done. Thank you. Questions? Hi.
Hey, the financial literacy classes. Financial literacy classes, are they gonna be in Spanish?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
And then, can you tell me what advertising we're doing to the Spanish community?
So working with our marketing team, focusing on making sure that our social media posts on Instagram and Facebook come out in Spanish. And part of that also comes with our flyers, streamlining the translation process to make sure that flyers that come out for Spanish speaking events come out in Spanish, and that any of our district wide efforts we're getting simultaneous translations. So we're not waiting once we get the English to then wait a few weeks to eventually get the Spanish. So
So we
getting
don't have any separate, Instagram account or.
not at this time. No.
Yeah. Good.
Yes. Thank you so much for your presentation. One of the events where I had a chance to see you represent the library was Pitch Latino, an event that in my day job I worked hard to help bring to Medford. So as soon as we have a date for the next one, I'll make sure your team is aware of it. A couple of Medford City Councilors were there too, so thank you for presenting the team alongside with the business librarian. I have a question. On the slide about the fiscal year 24-25 outreach events, from Las Posadas to the summer kickoff, were any of those events first year events?
Yeah. So a majority of the events that I've been attending, it is our first time connecting with these people. Sorry, this is me trying to go through.
Is it the first time they're held? I'm just curious whether any of those were inaugural events.
The events themselves, I want to say no, these are existing events, but some of them it is our first time as a library being at those events.
Got you. Thank you.
So when we're trying to get translations, how much do we rely on the translation
Like our outsourced translators?
programs, and how much do we rely on you?
All of our translations that come through our system are sent out to a third-party translator. Yeah,
So it's not just program translation.
yeah, so basically our translation policies, anything that is patron facing is expected to be in Spanish, yeah.
And it's done by a Spanish speaker, not just.
Yes, our bilingual stipend that we have here does not cover written translations, so all of that is outsourced.
And just to say, all of our policies, board-approved policies are available in Spanish. That's how I've used the translation service.
Oh, we're getting it.
Nope. You go ahead.
Okay.
I want to thank you. You gave an excellent presentation. Your slides were colorful and informative, and I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And because we have quite a few members of the media online as well, when is Dia de los Niños this year? Can you highlight that for us?
Yeah, so the one in Medford will be on the 25th of April, 12 to 4. The White City one will be happening the 4th of April. The Phoenix one will be the 11th of April, and Central Points will be on the 18th. All of them will be from 1 to 3.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The one in Medford, is it going to be on the same week as OLA? Because I remember there was a same day situation with OLA last year.
Yes, it's the same week as the conference, which is why I'm not going this year. I did it last year, not happening again.
Thank you.
Are you pleased with the growth you're seeing?
Yeah, I obviously like you're doing it day to day and you're like, yeah, I'm like doing things. But getting to see the year-to-date report that Regina provided for me, like actually seeing it in a graph was really impressive.
Makes you feel like you're accomplished.
Yes, definitely.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yes, either through the Oregon Library Association or the Urban Libraries Council or another member organization that we're part of. Do you have access to like a peer network where you can highlight what you're doing for others, because others can learn from JCLS, and where you can brainstorm things for others?
I believe it's a chapter of like, I'm still getting used to all of the like associations, but Reforma Oregon, I'm a member of that, and I have attended their quarterly meetings.
Okay, great. We love that you're accessing what you need, but also maybe that's a chance to highlight what we're doing here too in the profession.
Yeah, Reforma, I think specifically being Oregon, and we have connections with our neighbors in Josephine County has been really helpful. Just seeing like what people in my position are doing, coming into it, being the first person to do this position. There's a level of freedom of like excitement of like I get to do what I want and make it what I think the community needs, but getting that support from other people to see like, oh, you've been in doing this job for many years. Like, what are you doing? And getting mentorship through that has been really helpful.
Kevin.
I didn't quite get what the Latinx AO engagement committee is.
Yeah, so it started in 2020 and it was a little bit more kind of like in the sense that this position wasn't created at that time. So the committee worked together to do some of the efforts that I was doing. So they work on when
Employees?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an internal committee and I'm trying to think back to what some of the stuff that we did before this position was created was we helped create book lists for Latinx Heritage Month, helped come up with programming, put out take and makes and stuff like that. And so similarly now they help me with the efforts that I'm working on.
I have one further question.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned a couple of times that it's been somewhat challenging because there's a lot of fear given the local or the current political situation. Is there anything that the libraries can do that we're not doing to reduce the fear level and increase people's confidence in being able to visit the libraries without trouble?
We're exploring that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of what we're looking into and part of the outreach efforts. So a lot of what we found is existing in those communities, and so showing up to like Frederico and like these in outside of our facilities. That's kind of where we're able to connect best with these communities. And then we talk about Latinx AO communities, but that's kind of anywhere where people aren't necessarily sure is by physically putting ourselves where they are. That's the best way we found to connect. So, I know, like I said, I want to give further kudos to the libraries. All of the numbers you see up there is obviously a collaborative effort, but that's spearheaded by this, team of one. So, the answer is yes, and we are still figuring out what that looks like. That's being such a big goal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you
Don't
guys.
be so nervous the next time. You did great. You did absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Don't step on your phone. All right. So next up is the Regina and the statistical report.
Hello all, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we can.
Wonderful. It doesn't look like it's letting me turn on my video, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll just go ahead and move forward. Okay. Good evening. I'm happy to be here to present on the statistics and strategic plan metrics for Jackson County Library Services with a focus on the first half of fiscal year 26, ranging from July of 2025 through December of 2025. To begin, we will review charts reflecting our 6 key performance indicators. Then we will focus on strategic plan metrics. The final section provides an overview of national trends from the Urban Library Council's 2025 Library Insights Report. Our first KPI is total circulation. As of December 31st, JCLS total circulation reached 941,000, slightly higher than the mid-year total from last year. By doubling that amount, we can estimate a year-end total may reach around 1.8 to 1.9 million. Per capita or per person, total circulation would be at 8.4. Our next KPI is physical circulation, appearing stable in comparison to prior mid-year totals at 654,000. Assuming the next 6 months continue this trend, JCLS would end the year with a physical circulation of 1.31 million and a per capita physical circulation of 5.8. Please note that JCLS does include renewals in this metric, as well as individual book counts of outreach to child care provider bags. Digital circulation continues to increase in comparison to prior years. The fiscal year 26 mid-year total is 287,000 in comparison to 249,000 at the fiscal year 25 mid-year point, a 15% increase. If the second half of fiscal year 26 has similar performance, we could expect to see to end the year with a 575,000 as that year-end digital circulation total. Per capita or per person, that would be 2.56. This year, we had a disruption in our library visit tracking when one branch's door count sensor became misaligned and began to collect only partial data. Considering this, I have 2 slides to show you for library visits, one illustrating what was recorded and another offering a version that compensates for the incomplete data. Here you see, based on the recorded data, the mid-year visits total reached 382,000, resulting in a projection of 764,000 by year end and a per capita result of 3.41. Here we see that same slide again, except with slightly different numbers after compensating for the data loss. The mid-year total would have been around 389,000, projecting a year-end total of 777,000 visits and a per capita result of 3.47. Our next KPI is new cardholders. Over the first half of fiscal year 26, JCLS gained 6,720 new cardholders, placing us on track to reach over 13,000 new cardholders this year. For context, that would be between 5 and 6% of the Jackson County population of 224,000. In terms of per capita, that result is 0.06. Another way to think of that number is one new library card for around every 20 people in the population. Our last KPI is computer use. Like what we are seeing with physical circulation, computer use data appears stable with the prior 2 years. We have seen 38,000 sessions in the first half of fiscal year 26. Per capita results show as 0.34. Another way to think about that is there is one computer session for every 3 people in the population. This data table includes the data details for the KPIs. The next section is on our strategic plan metrics. Spanish circulation is trending slightly down since fiscal year 24. Items for children continue to make up the majority of Spanish circulation. We're seeing a single C code, Spanish Children's Easy Fiction, representing more than half of all Spanish checkouts. Here are some examples of those top circulating titles in that C code. JCLS continues to see gains in Library of Things circulation since the switch from featuring the items in a separate catalog, My Turn, to featuring them alongside the library's other items in Aspen Discovery, the JCLS public-facing catalog. Here we have the highest circulating items so far in fiscal year 26 for the Library of Things. On this slide, we can see how the proportion of physical versus digital checkouts has shifted over time. While digital circulation had been holding steady at around 26% of circulation up until around a year and a half ago, we're beginning to see a shift. From fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25, there was a jump from 26% to 28%, and JCLS is seeing an additional jump so far this fiscal year, with results showing digital circulation as 31% of total circulation. Here we have a chart of program offerings by audience and the respective chart of program attendance by target audience. Lastly, we have the chart of average program attendance by target audience. As JCLS has offered increasing amounts of general programs, the per program attendance for general programs has shifted from around 30 to around 20. If some general programs are large events with lots of capacity, that might be limiting how much we can read into this. For example, if the 30 from a few years ago occurred due to an outlier. JCLS adult offerings and adult attendance seems stable between last year and this year. JCLS has offered fewer teen programs, but doing so has coincided with higher efficiency in the sense of higher average program attendance per teen offering. JCLS is showing a proportionately big increase in kids program offerings without an increase in kids program attendance, resulting in lower average program attendance per offering. JCLS is seeing a proportionately small increase in pre-K offerings without an increase in pre-K program attendance, resulting in a small dip in average program attendance. Overall, average program attendance is closely in step with last year. This chart, excuse me, illustrates visits by community outreach for specific focus areas. Note that DART is currently on hiatus, and thus we expect that dip in visits. For K-12 and outreach to childcare, while our standard for estimating year-end totals from half-year totals is to double the number, it appears to be typical for these departments to complete more than 50% of their offerings in the second part of the year, so they are likely to surpass that default projection. On this slide, we have the count of interactions recorded in those focus areas. Next, we have community resource interactions by type. We're continuing to see high numbers for in-person interactions especially. Here we have the data relating to information provided by community resource, as well as the data relating to the services provided by community resource. This slide illustrates the number of hours of non-required staff training completed alongside the number of participating staff people. Around 20% have recorded completing non-required training so far this year. We sometimes see large jumps in recorded hours due to conference attendance, so we may see that again this spring. Next, we have national trends. This slide and the following slides are pulled directly from the Urban Library Council's 2025 Library Insights Report. They highlight how room reservations and e-resource use continue to trend up, especially compared to pre-pandemic numbers. Also, the majority of responding libraries listed early literacy and school-age programs as core priorities. The ULC lists 5 key takeaways in their report. Here, they discuss an opportunity to redesign spaces in response to an increased demand for rentable community spaces. Next, they discuss the importance of aligning staffing levels with growing patron demand for services. The third takeaway emphasizes how libraries with under a 250,000 library service area population are often seeing cuts to staffing or potentially services occur alongside projected population growth. Next, the ULC highlights digital adoption and technology changes, recommending a curated physical engagement strategy through immersive experiences. The last ULC takeaway discusses how public libraries, as trusted social infrastructure, can respond to emerging social needs like childhood literacy, workforce reskilling, AI literacy, and flexible workspaces. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Do we have questions?
I want to comment that, because I don't have it right in front of me. The last sentence in your last slide really resonated with me. That oops, that's not it. Anyways, that we are civic hubs of there it is. Yes, the impact. Position libraries not just as reactive service providers, but as proactive civic innovators, strengthening their reputations. That was a very powerful statement to me, and I hope that we are able to do that with our district too.
Wonderful.
Marga?
Regina, thank you for your presentation. Oh, sorry, can I jump in with a question?
Sure.
I really liked how you presented the top titles in Spanish, but I was wondering if we could have like the top titles that are checked out in all the categories in just like a list format, maybe top like 50 of everything. I'd be really curious.
Oh, yeah,
That's a lot of work.
um, yeah, we can look into that.
Awesome, thank you.
This is Marta. Thank you so much for your presentation. When it comes to the computer use per capita data point, I don't have an answer right now. Maybe that's something I'm happy to help brainstorm, or if there is another way to express the computer usage, like maybe computer use per library cards issued, or like a computer use per active patrons, because remember we also have the active patrons metric. I'm just wondering if there is a way to bring it home in a less abstract way.
Yes,
I mean,
no, that makes sense. Whenever the per capita is a decimal, I always worry that that's a little bit harder to imagine.
yes, I mean 0.34 is a pretty significant thing, I guess, but is 1/3 is just how do we relate it to the overall use of the library by folks inside the building. Other metrics totally make sense with the per capita, but can we brainstorm another data point? Because I think that's a great data point to share when the meetings with the city councils and county commissioners resume again, because digital access is crucial to absolutely everything right now. But thank you so much for the other items having very much great understanding on how it relates to per capita context.
Thank you.
And I had no idea that ukuleles were so popular.
We also have many of them available, so I think that is part of it.
Oh, that's
They were
interesting.
they were the first thing I think that was in the
Library of Things. I
Mhm.
love it. And this was a great report. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Anything else? Well, it's a lot of work. Thank you very much, Regina. It was well done.
Thank you.
All right. Kelda, you're up with the library director.
Yeah, so again,
Library report.
yeah, you've got the report in front of you. I went through it and read through all the fabulous things. I just wanted to highlight a few that jumped out at me. The first one being the January's Big Ideas program in Ashland, which I attended. So that was fantastic. It was all about Oregon. And so Pam Marsh, Representative Pam Marsh and Amy Cuddy, they tag teamed their presentation. It was a full house and tons of great information. I learned so much about our state, and I thought it was fabulous. I thought the other one that jumped out at me was a program at Central Point welcoming Kelly Rose Wellness for a sound healing with bowls and things, relaxing. And it sounded like it attracted lots of new library users. And it sounds just wonderful. And I'm sorry I missed it, but it sounds like they might do it again. And then the other one that I just thought was very cute was right below that on page 60, the White City Library patrons who participated in the ocean camouflage. Now you see me, now you don't. And there's a fabulous picture there. And I didn't see the fish at first, but then I saw the fish and I loved it. So I thought that was great. And then the last one that really jumped out at me was the pool. Oh, where did it go? At Rogue River, someone had checked out something called Girls Garage, and it inspired them to create a tool time group. And I just think that's just such a fabulous community thing to do, wonderful topic, and how wonderful that the library can help be a part of it. So any other questions?
Kelda? Questions for Kelda? Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
a comment. The presentations today have been absolutely fantastic from everybody, and I want to thank whoever, everybody whose work goes into it, into the data points, but also a shout out to a presentation we received from, I believe, Bristol Strong several meetings ago that provided us with some background analysis on how it's not always just the sheer amount of programming and just having a calendar full with several events a day or week, but planning for sustainability, aligning with interests, aligning with what gets checked out, aligning with gets people engaging at all levels, because that helped contextualize the attendance that we discussed, the attendance of Spanish-speaking programs we discussed, and the data points you all have brought us today.
Yeah. Was that the program optimization task force report on
Yes.
the survey and things? Yes.
So thank you for the presentations that truly build on something. And please know that because we had that background, we were approaching it, with more context. So it all builds on each other. Thank you. We're learning from it.
All right. So we have, we're doing pretty well. I've been trying to keep us moving. So the finance data and metrics. Do you folks have anything you want to report more than what was in the?
Did we address the per capita issue and
We
we're just
did.
gonna let it go for this?
Yeah, so we in the meeting in the finance, and when we were discussing, Regina shared what you just saw with the committee, and we did have a discussion about per capita and its relevance in our reporting. And so I'm glad you mentioned it as well, Marta. And so I think that we were talking about potentially tweaking it a little bit. And as you mentioned, active cardholders, I think that's one of the metrics that we were.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much for the whole county, but per usage per user.
Yeah, the
Like
library
user.
card. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at that going into fiscal year 27 and our metrics that we're going to be reporting on in the future.
Right. It did occur to me when I was looking through the report that there were perhaps a few places where per capita didn't necessarily enhance my understanding very much.
Yep.
If at all. Yep. All right. So that's it from data and metrics. Okay, then we are going to adjourn the regular port. No,
Right, we don't have to adjourn. We're just going to go into
okay, we're just going to move into executive session. So we'll take about a 2 to 5 minute break while we exit everybody from the waiting, people in the waiting room. I don't think we're going to come back and make decisions, but it's not necessarily clear yet.
Right.
That's
We'll
fair.
come back to
We'll
open
come back to
session
regular
to
session
conclude the
and
meeting.
adjourn from there. But I don't know if there's anything we're going to actually do.
And those online, identify yourselves in chat or in your Zoom name as members of the media, please, in order for us to keep you in the meeting and not move you to the waiting room.
Anyway.
Jackson County Library will now meet in executive session pursuant to executives. Jackson County Library District will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of today's executive session, the board will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room, after which the board may or may not take action or make a decision. Representatives of the news media and designated staff will be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the meeting, and I believe have done so. Board members are advised not to discuss subjects apart from those legally justifying today's executive session. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced.
Do any business?
Okay. We are now returning to open session of our regular board meeting for February 17th, 2026.
18th.
18th,
Attendance.
whatever date.
Um,
What is the 18th? Amazing.
Marissa Brianda's Shepherd had to leave, so we still have the other 4 board members.
Yes, we have. Marissa's no longer, but we still have a quorum. So. Not that
She's
we're
still
going to
around.
make.
She's not out here.
Hmm?
She's still longer. She's just not here.
Yes.
You said she's no longer. I was like,
Oh, no. No longer attending.
gotcha.
So. Yes. Oh, we would like you, Yoli, to notice a work session for 1 to 2 p.m. on Friday,
The 20th.
the 20th. Please. And the topic of the work session will be discussing possibilities for interim director.
Mhm.
And we ought to talk about, we should talk about what the process for appointing this interim is gonna be, shouldn't we? I mean, we don't have one. that I know.
I would assume a process, and then like a job description might be helpful.
Right. Well, we've put
Oh.
together some items to go in the job description. I've had it suggested to me by a couple of different people that SDAO could help us shape up the description. And I've been trying to get hold of Mary Kay Dahlgreen, who's a retired state librarian who's working for SDAO, who should have some skill actually at doing library job descriptions. And she finally called me back just as we were sitting down to this meeting. So I haven't actually been able to, I emailed her a week ago and hadn't gotten a response till today.
Mark, didn't you know somebody?
Yes, I will bring in whatever resources I can get from RV Cog's HR admin support because we're a paying member, and they may have a template or templated process for us to follow.
Yeah, it's just. We knew the wheel we had.
Yep.
Oh, but the job description for the interim isn't going to be the job description for the library director.
We can discuss this.
You guys interviewed before, actually.
She wasn't an interim director. I'm pretty sure.
So
I
we'll-
agree just with Patty. I think that discussion would be best held on Friday
Yeah, well,
as part of your discussion.
Not the decisions. As it stands right now. So it's something that-
for, we just got sent out in December.
Thank you, everybody.
I know this is hard, but we got to get it. No, I'm just saying we need to get this. If we get this interim done as soon as possible, that will make
We all agree.
everything will
Yes.
become easier. It won't be solved, but it'll be easier.
This is a priority and we're moving towards our goal of having an interim director in March.
By March.
So it'll be Friday.
Friday, 1 p.m.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for staying. Yes. Oh. We are now adjourned.